So let's talk about ornament, how to make an ornament glow. Okay, I had a lot of fun painting this today and I'm excited to share it with you. So let's get this set up here. So this is the ornament that I'm going to be sharing with all of you, how to create this look. All right, so we have our colors to put out here. Now, you would say, oh my gosh, that's a lot of colors, but there's a reason. All right, so I've got, of course, the base color of this is the red. So I've got some apple red. You want a bright red and a dark red. There we go. And so I've got apple red and berry wine. Some orange, okay. Pure orange, oops, and daffodil yellow. Now I put a silver top on this one. I'm going to show you how to do, and that was with a medium gray base coat, and then I used a silver metallic for top coating it. But I'm going to show you how to do gold for this one. Okay. Oh, and I need some, no I don't, white is fine. All right, so I've got metallic treasure gold here. Treasure gold, one of our favorites. Okay, and then I've got some floating medium in my cubby here that I'm going to put out. And I'm going to knock everything over while I'm at it. So I hope you're excited to see this ornament because it's really not that tough. You just have to think about, first of all, where's the reflection going to come from? So I like to think of the ornament hanging and then the light shining from above. All right, maybe you have with the light shining from below, but it's on the curve. Okay, so you have to think about if this is my dead center of my ornament, the curve is going to come down this way, right? And it's going to go up this way. So you just have to think about that as you're creating that look. Okay, so let me get my scruffy out here. I didn't grab those. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is get my 3/4 flat damp, and I'm going to pick up the berry wine. Okay, so you pick up a bunch of berry wine on the brush, and you're going to come down here and on the chisel edge, let's come down a little bit closer. Okay, on the chisel edge, you're going to come along the bottom edge. I'm on paper for this one. I did it on wood for my original, but the same process applies. So my dark side of my ornament is going to be on the lower right. And so you're going to create this arc or curve with all this paint. Okay, lots of berry wine in there. Then I'm going to wipe off my brush and come get a lot of the apple red. Okay, and so here I'm going to come up around this top edge. All right, and I'm going to come up underneath my ornament top. And whoops. And then I'm going to come pick up more of the red, and we're going to slip slap to get the colors to come together. Now with that being paper, it kind of absorbed it, so I'm just going to pick up a little more of the berry wine and bring those two colors together. A little more of the apple red. I want a lot of this color on here so that it doesn't dry right away. So heavy paint. Now what I can do in this case that was different from my wood ornament is I can come in, smooth this out on a curve. Okay, wipe off, see all that dark I picked up? You have to wipe that off. And then I can come and pull this down. I'm going to pick up dark paint, wipe it off, come back, and you can smooth out following that curve from light to dark. Okay, so that would be a more smooth looking shine or transition between light and dark on the ornament. We see the dark and the light here. Okay, so now we want to start working on our glow. And so I'm going to pick up just on the corner of my brush some pure orange, and I'm going to come right in here and start lightening up this red area. Okay, So a little more of that orange, and then I'm going to grab some yellow, daffodil yellow. And with the corner of my brush, it's starting to lighten this area. Now I've got a lot of paint on my brush, so I'm going to wipe it off and work with what's on here. A little more yellow right in the middle. And you'll see how that's creating a light spot, okay? Now, I don't want to go with white yet. I actually don't want any white because with the red ornament, you don't want it to get, oh, I do too want white. With the red ornament, you don't want it to get pink, right? So let me grab some white. I will need that later, but it's got to dry first. So I don't need much white. Okay. All right, so wiping off that brush again, I'm going to come in here and then I'm going to grab a little more yellow and work it in that light center. Okay, so this is where I then lay my flat brush down and I'm going to come in with my scruffy, and it's clean and dry. All right, and I'm going to come right around this circle, the outside edge of this lighter area, and I'm going to tap, and it's going to pick up that orangish red color so I can wipe it off on paper towel and then come around and do the top edge. And you see how that's softening that a bit. Wipe it off again and then come right in here in the middle and soften that up. Okay, so see how that's created that yellowish orange glow right up in that area. Now at this point I can wipe off that brush and I can decide if I want to come in. Maybe I get a little bit of that berry wine and I come up here on this edge to darken it a little bit. So I just tap in just a tiny amount of berry wine. Okay, little bits of berry wine. I'm just picking it up on the very edge of my brush, and I'm going to come in right off the edge of the berry wine. See that? Just like that, almost dry brushing it. All right, and then I'm going to come in here and tap that out. Now, because that starts to soften this paint a bit, I can come around a little bit more and tap around these edges so that the rest of the ornament has that little bit of a textured look. See there? And work my way up into that glow area. You see how nicely that came together very quickly. You don't have to have a lot of stroke work until you create the glow, and it's bringing those colors together. Okay, now I can come in at this point with a smaller scruffy, like my baby scruffy, or not baby, but the 1/4 inch scruffy. I can get a little bit of yellow. All right, just like I did with the berry wine, just tap lightly into that edge, and I can lighten this glow area up just a little bit more. And now I'm going to start following that curve. See the curve there? It's curving like this. A little bit more of the yellow. Oops, a little too much, so wipe that off. And you're going to blend this in to that background color. Everything is still wet, okay? And you're creating that curve up and down. You might grab a little bit of the red now and look for any spots that might need some blending out. A little bit of the berry wine just to bring all that together. All right, that's for touch-ups. Okay, and there you have the glow. Now, it reminds me of fruit. Yes, it does. Yes, like an apple or something. So you're softening with those scruffies. We're not applying much paint with them at all. Now, I'm going to, at this point, let that dry a bit. And while that's happening, I'm going to come in with my 12 flat. And I'm going to pick up some yellow ochre. Okay. And so here we have the top. Now let's come down a little bit closer. You can kind of see how that shine looks there too. So I'm going to base coat my top of my ornament. And all I did to create this ornament, guys, was I took that chunky ornament from Jeff and I traced around it. Okay, so I'm just adding yellow ochre. In order for our metallics to really show and glow and not fight against the background white color, you want to base coat them with a flat color of something in the same family. Okay, so with gold, it's usually yellow ochre. Bronze, sometimes you want to use coffee latte or one of the more browner tones. Okay, and with silver, it's usually medium gray. All right, so now that's base coating and drying a little bit while that is. Now this should be fairly dry. What I can do at this point is come back. I've cleaned my 12 and I'm going to pick up some wicker white just on the chisel edge. See that little bit of wicker white? Oops. There we go. All right, and I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to think about that curve. All right, so right in the heart, in the center of my glow, I'm going to touch and pull and lift. Okay, a flat edge. It's still a little bit wet, but that's okay. So I just came out on either side and widened it a little bit rather than using a bigger brush, and I kept my pull uneven, and I whisked it away so that it left a wispy glow. Okay, and when that dries, I could come back in with a little heavier white. Let me see if I can get, no, it's gonna pull that color up now. So you want to let that dry, and then you can put in some more white. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is grab my 6 flat, and I'm going to get wicker white on that, and I created a little shine, a little starburst. Okay, and this is up to you. You could use a script liner if you wanted to, but I felt like I got a little better control right off the corner of that white highlight stroke that I just did. Okay, you can come out with the 6 points, and then I just flicked out little bits of white from the between, just to give that a little bit extra sparkle. Okay, could you use gold for this? Absolutely, but usually it needs to be the color of whatever light it's reflecting. Okay, all right, so a couple of different ways to show that shine, but I like that. I thought that was fun. All right, clean that off. I'm gonna go, now this should be dry, and it is. So I'm gonna come and get my 6 flat with Treasure Gold. And I could go back to my 12, but I've got this in my hand, so it works. Right, and we're gonna base coat this whole thing here with the Treasure Gold. And that just helps that gold coverage a lot better with that ochre underneath it. So I'm going to base coat the whole thing with the gold, and then we're going to side load a color to help create the outline of the top. Okay, so I've got Treasure Gold on here. Now I'm going to come side stroke some white on one edge. Okay, and what I'm going to do at this point is along the top with the white to the outside edge, you can come down and create a little glare. Okay, and then right in here, come across, so the whites to the outside edge and come across. And then down here, you can come from that corner and create that little point right there. Let me get a little more gold. Side load the white, and so from this point, you can go point up and down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Don't go too far down. Down. And then I'm angling it over to the right side as I go across. And then come up that side. Okay, so with that, Then I'm going to take that white, and from each of those points you can pull up on a slight curve. And this is going to curve this way. Okay. Just like that. Now you can do a lot more detail, whatever, to the top. I had some black here. Let's see. There we go. Actually, brown would be better, but I can't reach my brown right now. Okay. So if I took, instead of the white, I side loaded, I got gold, and then side load a little bit of licorice, right? And you can come underneath here. Brown would be better. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not happy with that. Brown would be better. That's okay. All right, and then what I did then was I came in on inside of each of these upstrokes where the grooves are for the crimping on the topper, and did a little line to give them some depth. Okay, so there you go. I'm just coming back over this with some gold to brighten that back up a little bit. Okay. And go a little dark on the inside curve of this will help give that some depth too. All right, so there you have our ornament with the glow. And at this point, that should be fairly dry. I can come back in now with a clean brush and some heavy white and pull that down, and that'll brighten that right up, okay? It just saves me from getting the hairdryer out. All right, now the last thing I want to do, just to give this a little bit of shading, I would take floating medium, all right, and I would, with my 12 flat, side load with the floating medium, I've loaded it, and then side load the berry wine. I can come, whoops, I got some red on there. I can come right up underneath this cap. Let me get a little bit more. Right up underneath that cap with some darker red, and set that up a little more, okay? So that it's got a little shadow it's casting. There we go. All right, and you can do more to this. You could come along and do some shading. You can come in with your browns or greens or whatever, mixed with the red, to do some more shading along the edges if you want to, and give it a more realistic look. But this is a good start. I hope you'll give it a try. Try some different colors. You really want to go in the same family of tones. So if you did greens, you would go from like a dark green to green. Then you can start using white. It's just white with red makes pink, but white with green will give you a lighter shade of green. So you would do that to start creating that glow up there. Okay. All right, guys. So there's our ornament. I hope you enjoyed that.